against the stream. It don't matter what race or creed or color. You love this land and you're my brother. That ain't place to know your stand. If you say you can't breathe, I'll show you we can. Ain't never gonna stop believing. We were born for freedom. We're born for freedom.
I'll wait a couple minutes for everyone to get in here. I try really hard to keep my streams under an hour. This one's going to run it just a little bit over. I want y'all know what I've been saying every time I open my live streams. I mean, this is like literally part of my brand. It literally is. And I am concerned that I may not be able to say it anymore. But again, we don't jump to conclusions. I am not big on watching clips. Now, a lot of people have been coming out on TikTok, coming out on Twitter, using clips from this guy. And it hurts. It hurts, you know. I believe in Matthew McConaughey, not just because he's a really cool actor who's always had really cool parts, not because we like his personality. He does a lot of, he's done a lot of motivational speaking. He has a book out. Like, he's, you know, you'd be cooler if you did, right? But one thing that Clue and I discussed, especially after the Maverick, when I did that video about Maverick, and we were talking about how Adam Carolla, and I can't remember if it was on Joe Rogan or if it was Dave Rubin, but I could be wrong. What Adam Carolla said, oh, thank you, Queen Mata. I'm sorry you're sick. I know life is hectic. I'm still happy you're here. Am I leaving Texas? Yeah, I mean, what is there here for me? Like, I'm not in my finances really haven't improved a whole lot. There's nowhere cheap to live. Definitely never met the cowboy of my dreams. I came here for love. Love hasn't happened. Barely have been able to get a date. Like, there's the Texas I thought I was coming, and every I know what you're gonna say. You say, oh, well, you're in Austin. That's the problem. Yeah, I know. Okay. But I'm still not getting any luck here. Okay. I'm still not getting any luck here. There's nothing here for me. My life in Texas has been very stable, which has been great. It's been very quiet. It's been very, very peaceful for the most part, other than, you know, the alcoholic bitches that I had to deal with. I've had good times. There's parts of this area. So yeah, I'm moving to Florida because I have no love here. I have no friends here.
No.
I have no support system here. I literally have accomplished, I mean, other than like really centering myself and, you know, doing a lot of intensive therapy and like really just like getting myself to like the best place that I've ever been, which is a good thing. Like, really nothing else good has happened. Like, I can't stand this loneliness. And I'm not just talking about having a romantic companion. Like, I can't make any fucking friends here. And the funny thing is, and I'm sorry if I'm calling certain people out who might be watching, but a lot of you have said, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna come visit you. I'm gonna come visit you," and you never fucking did. Okay. I haven't seen Sarah since I moved here. I haven't seen Olga since I moved here. Still haven't met um, Get Fit Journey. Still haven't met Mr. Braiding. Like, I haven't met anybody. Like, nobody comes to see me. Like, nobody. And yes, going to the meetups is fun and it's great, but everybody else lives in Longview or Conroe or Houston or Dallas. Nobody lives over here, you know? So it is what it is. But yeah, I'm ready to go because I can't. I'm a very social person, and I'm not social media social. I'm like real life, face to face human being social. And out here, it's just been a waste of, not a waste, but I'm not happy. Um, sorry, I'm gonna pull it. I'm gonna come up on TikTok. 1 second, guys. Okay. So, yeah, I'm just not happy. Like, I have zero support system out here in Texas. I am so alone. I'm so alone, and it sucks, and it's driving me crazy. I'm trying not to let it get to me, but it does. But anyway, getting back on, I mean, it is fun. The Capitol was fun. When I go to the river, it's fun. When I go to Lake Travis, it's fun. But that's because I have fun. Like, I can have fun by myself. I have fun no matter what I do or where I go, but I'm fucking lonely. Like, I have no girlfriends. I don't have a romantic partner. I don't have anyone that I can go really get a drink with. I don't have anyone that I can call on a regular basis and be like, "Hey, what's up? What are you doing? It's my day off." Like, I don't have those kinds of relationships with people, and it's killing me. It's destroying my soul, you know. So I came here, I saw Chad Prather wouldn't hire me to work on his campaign. Like, that's like, there's nothing here for me, honestly. Anyhow, um Matthew McConaughey. Oh my God. So what was I saying? I was saying that Adam Carolla said that when you don't see celebrities getting involved in whatever the outrage trending hashtag is of the day, that's pretty likely that they are conservative or Republican, or at least have some more centrist values, and they stay out of things. And Clue and I talked about that concept, and we kind of confirmed it. It's a theory, but we kind of confirmed it, like talking about different actors and stuff like that. So Matthew McConaughey is always kind of, oh, what's up, Nate? Thank you. I know, but I would love to call you, but when I call people, I feel like I'm bothering them. And then also it's like, I want to come over and hang out and like make dinner for your family and like hang out with your kids. Like, I need face-to-face contact. That I can't. I'm on the phone and all the time. I'm on social media a lot, and it just, I need to be with people. You have to understand, I'm not somebody. Up until 2020, I didn't do social media. I did for my beer podcast, but I wasn't like active on it like that. Like, I'm a people person. I need to be around people. And it's just been really hard for me. But thank you for the offer. You know I love you. And I heard you I heard you whooped up on bro. I heard you whooped up on bro. Good for you. Piper, if you want to jump in my live, this is what I need you to do. Go to my link in my bio, go to the link tree, click on the very first link at the top. That is my main YouTube account and jump in my live on YouTube. And I would love to hear anything you have to say. I'll give you the link and you can join the conversation. Okay. What kind of beer that I have? Oh, this is the Blood and Honey. This is one of my favorite beers coming out of Texas. Anyhow, so when Matthew McConaughey jumped into this Uvalde thing, I was like, oh, fuck. Really? You two? Like, I understand. Like, I've heard that he's from there. You know, this might be something that hits home to him. But it may or may not have been disingenuous. And this is where I want us to analyze it. So here's what we're going to do. This is going to be a long stream. We are going to watch the full speech that he did at the White House. And then we're going to watch about 20 minutes of Dan Bongino's response to his speech. And again, you guys know I do not like taking things out of context. I do not want patriots and conservatives to jump on this bandwagon and just accuse him of being a traitor or just accuse him of being, you know, on China's payroll. I don't want to do that. But we are going to analyze it for ourselves by listening to the whole speech, not the 5-minute clip, not the minute and 22-second clip. We're going to listen to the whole speech and we're going to just figure it out. Clue is back. Yes. Hi, Clue. Happy to see you. Mark Neely. I don't know if you've ever been on my channel before, but if you have not, welcome. I am happy you're here. Thank you for being here. All right, so let's just jump into Matthew's speech first, and then from there, we will go into what Dan Bongino's response is.
Thank you. Thank you, Camilla. To make the loss of these lives matter. My wife and I, Camilla, we spent most of last week on the ground with the families in Uvalde, Texas. We shared stories, tears, and memories. The common thread, independent of the anger and the confusion and the sadness, it was the same. How can these families continue to honor these deaths by keeping the dreams of these children and teachers alive? Again, how can the loss of these lives matter? So while we honor and acknowledge the victims, we need to recognize that this time, it seems that something is different. There's a sense that perhaps there's a viable path forward. Responsible parties in this debate seem to at least be committed to sitting down and having a real conversation about a new and improved path forward. A path that can bring us closer together and make us safer as a country, a path that can actually get something done this time. Camille and I came here to share my stories from my hometown, Uvalde. Came here to take meetings with elected officials on both sides of the aisle. We came here to speak to them, to speak with them, and to urge them to speak with each other. To remind and inspire them that the American people will continue to drive forward the mission of keeping our children safe, because it's more than our right to do so. It's our responsibility to do so. I'm here today in the hopes of applying what energy, reason, and passion that I have into trying to turn this moment into a reality. Because as I said, this moment is different. We are in a window of opportunity right now that we have not been in before. A window where it seems like real change can happen. Uvalde, Texas is where I was born. It's where my mom taught kindergarten less than a mile from Robb Elementary. Uvalde is where I learned to master a Daisy BB gun. That took 2 years before I graduated to a .410 shotgun. Uvalde is where I was taught to revere the power and the capability of the tool that we call a gun. Uvalde is where I learned responsible gun ownership. Now, Uvalde called me on May 24th when I learned the news of this devastating tragedy. I had been out of cellular range, working in the studio all day when I emerged, and messages about a mass shooting in the town I was born in began flooding my inbox. In a bit of shock, I drove home, hugged my children a bit tighter and longer than the night before, and then the reality of what had happened that day in the town I was born in set in. So the next morning, Camilla, myself, and the kids, we loaded up the truck and we drove to Uvalde. And when we arrived a few hours later, I got to tell you, even from the inside of our vehicle, you could feel the shock in the town. You could feel the pain, the denial, the disillusion, anger, blame, sadness, loss of lives, dreams halted. We saw ministries, we saw first responders, counselors, cooks, families trying to grieve without it being on the front page news. We met with the local funeral director and countless morticians who hadn't slept since the massacre the day before, because they've been working 24/7 trying to handle so many bodies at once, so many little innocent bodies who had their entire lives still yet to live. And that is there that we met two of the grieving parents, Ryan and Jessica Ramirez. Their 10-year-old daughter, Alethea. She was one of the 19 children that were killed the day before. Now, Alethea, her dream was to go to art school in Paris and one day share her art with the world. Ryan and Jessica were eager to share Alethea's art with us and said if we could share it, that somehow, maybe that would make Alethea smile in heaven. They told us that showing someone else Alethea's art would in some way keep her alive. Now, this particular drawing is a self-portrait, all right, of Alethea drawing with her friend in heaven looking down on her, drawing the very same picture. Her mother said of this drawing, she said, you know, we never really talked to her about heaven before, but somehow she knew. Alethea was 10 years old. Her father, Ryan, this man was steady. He was uncommonly together and calm. When a frazzled friend of his came up and said, how are you so calm? I'd be going crazy. Ryan told him, he said, no, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't. You'd be strong for your wife and kids, because if they see you go crazy, that will not help them. Just a week prior, Ryan got a full-time line job, stringing power lines from pole to pole. And every day since landing that well-paying full-time job, he reminded his daughter Alethea, he said, girl, Daddy gonna spoil you now. Told her every single night. He said, Daddy's gonna take you to SeaWorld one day. He didn't get to spoil his daughter. Alethea, she did not get to go to SeaWorld. We also met Anna and Danilo, the mom and dad of 9-year-old Maite Rodriguez. And Maite wanted to be a marine biologist. She was already in contact with Corpus Christi University of A&M for her future college enrollment. 9 years old. Maite cared for the environment so strongly that when the city asked her mother if they could release some balloons into the sky in her memory, her mom said, oh, no, Maite wouldn't want to litter. Maite wore green high-top Converse with a heart she had hand-drawn on the right toe because they represented her love of nature. Camilla's got these shoes. Can you show these shoes, please? Wore these every day. Green Converse with a heart on the right toe. These are the same green Converse on her feet that turned out to be the only clear evidence that could identify her after the shooting. How about that? Maite wrote a letter. Her mom said if Maite's letter could help someone accomplish her dream, that then her death would have an impact and it would mean her dying had a point and wasn't pointless, that it would make the loss of her life matter. The letter reads, Marine biologist, I want to pass school to get to my dream college. My dream college is in Corpus Christi by the ocean. I need to live next to the ocean because I want to be a marine biologist. Marine biologists study animals and the water. Most of the time I will be in a lab. Sometimes I will be on TV. Then there was Ellie Garcia, a 10-year-old, and her parents, Stephen and Jennifer. Ellie loved to dance and she loved church. She even knew how to drive tractors and was already working with her dad and her uncle mowing yards. Ellie was always giving of her gifts, her time, even half-eaten food on her plate, they said. So around the house, we called her the Great Regifter. Smiling through tears, her family told us how Ellie loved to embrace, said she was the biggest hugger in the family. Now, Ellie was born Catholic, but had been going to Baptist church with her uncle for the last couple of years. Her mom and dad were proud of her because they said she was learning to love God no matter where. The week prior to her passing, she'd been preparing to read a verse from the Bible for the next Wednesday night's church service. The verse was from Deuteronomy 6:5. And thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, and with all thy might. That's who Ellie was becoming. But she never got to read it. Service on that Wednesday night. Then there was a fairy tale love story of a teacher named Irma and her husband Joe. What a great family this was. This was an amazing family. Camilla and I, we sat with about 20 of their family members in the living room, along with their 4 kids. Kids were 23, 19, 15, and 13. They shared all these stories about how Irma and Joe served the community and would host all these parties, and how Irma and Joe were planning on getting a food truck together when they soon retired. They were humble, hard-working people. Irma was a teacher who her family said went above and beyond and just couldn't say no to any kind of teaching. Joe had been commuting to and from work 70 miles away in Del Rio for years. Together, they were the glue of the family. Both worked overtime to support their 4 kids. Irma even worked every summer when school was out. The money she had made 2 summers ago paid to paint the front of the house. The money she made last summer paid to paint the sides of the house. This summer's work was going to pay to paint the back of the house. Because Irma was one of the teachers who was gunned down in the classroom. Joe, her husband, literally died of heartache the very next day when he had a heart attack. They never got to paint the back of their house. They never got to retire. And they never got to get that food truck together. We also met a cosmetologist. She was well-versed in mortuary makeup. That's the task of making the victims appear as peaceful and natural as possible for their open casket viewings. These bodies were very different. They needed much more than makeup to be presentable. They needed extensive restoration. Why? Due to the exceptionally large exit wounds of an AR-15 rifle. Most of the body is so mutilated that only DNA tests or green Converse could identify. Many children were left not only dead, but hollow. So yes.
Let me just respond to some of these comments. Dude looks like he gets pegged by Beta for sure. I don't know about that. Let's not make those kinds of accusations, but it is funny. Old Matty Boy comes off like a crackhead. He doesn't smoke crack. His drug of choice is cocaine. Okay. He likes the more expensive version. Okay. We all know he likes Coke. That is not a secret. And he likes to drink. We all know that. Okay. Wonder if they're conditioning Matt to run on a dim ticket. I did see another interview where, and this is, I guess, one thing I've always liked about him. He does claim to be a centrist. So he said he wasn't going to run for anything, but Dan Bongino will call him out on that. So once we get to the Dan Bongino video, Dan Bongino will call him out for that. You mean beta male overwork? Yes. Yes, they are Manchurian candidates for sure. There's some key words and key phrases that he's using in this speech that I will get to later. But let's let him finish talking and let's listen all the way through.
Counselors are going to be needed in Uvalde for a long time. Counselors are needed in all these places where these mass shooters have been for a long time. I was told by many that it takes a good year before people even understand what to do next. And even then, when they become secure enough to take the first step forward, a lifetime is not going to heal those wounds. But again, you know what every one of these parents wanted, what they asked us for? What every parent separately expressed in their own way to Camilla and me, that they want their children's dreams to live on, that they want their children's dreams to continue to accomplish something after they are gone. They want to make their loss of life matter. Look, we heard from so many people, right? Families of the deceased, mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, Texas Rangers, hunters, Border Patrol, and responsible gun owners who won't give up their Second Amendment right to bear arms. And you know what they all said? We want secure and safe schools, and we want gun laws that won't make it so easy for the bad guys to get these damn guns.
It's not possible, Matt.
We know it's on the table. We need to invest in mental health care. We need safer schools. We need to restrain sensationalized media coverage. We need to restore our family values. We need to restore our American values. And
values.
We need responsible gun ownership. Responsible gun ownership.
We have that.
We need background checks. We need to raise the minimum age to purchase an AR-15 rifle to 21.
Why?
We need a waiting period for those rifles. We need red flag laws and consequences for those who abuse them. These are reasonable, practical, tactical regulations to our nation, states, communities, schools, and homes. Responsible gun owners are fed up with the Second Amendment being abused and hijacked by some deranged individuals. These regulations are not a step back. They're a step forward for a civil society and the Second Amendment. Look, is this cure-all? Hell no. But people are hurting. Families are, parents are. And look, as divided as our country is, this gun responsibility issue is one that we agree on more than we don't. It really is. Look, this should be a nonpartisan issue. This should not be a partisan issue. There is not a Democratic or Republican value in one single act of these shooters. It's not. But people in power have failed to act. So we're asking you, and I'm asking you, will you please ask yourselves, can both sides rise above? Can both sides see beyond the political problem at hand and admit that we have a life preservation problem on our hands? So we got a chance right now to reach for and to grasp a higher ground above our political affiliations. A chance to make a choice that does more than protect your party. A chance to make a choice that protects our country now and for the next generation. We got to take a sober, humble, and honest look in the mirror and rebrand ourselves based on what we truly value. What we truly value. We got to get some real courage and honor our immortal obligations instead of our party affiliations. Enough with the counterpunching. Enough of the invalidation of the other side. Let's come to the common table that represents the American people. Find a middle ground, the place where most of us Americans live anyway, especially on this issue. Because I promise you, America, you and me, we are not as divided as we were being told we are. No. How about we get inspired? Give ourselves just cause to revere our future again. Maybe set an example for our children. Give us reason to tell them, hey, listen.
Listen, Matt. There's criminals, there's crazy people, and there's everybody else, okay? That's what the fuck we're divided on, okay? That's what the fuck we're divided on, okay? Stop acting like... See, this is the problem. Democrats want to act like Republicans are just absolutely 100% frivolous about background checks and the FFL or whatever it is that we got to go through. Like it's just regular fucking people doing this shit. We conservatives keep telling the Democrats, listen, you can't stop crazy. You can't stop hatred. You can't be the thought police. You can't be the emotional damage police. You can't stop people with hatred in their hearts from doing crazy shit. Are we divided on what? Nobody wants to see this type of thing happening. We're not divided on that. This is what we need. We need Democrats and progressives and these hippie humanitarian Confucians to understand that you can't stop crazy. You can't stop anger. You can't stop criminal intent in someone's heart if they have it. No amount of new legislation in terms of gun control is going to stop that. That's what the fuck we're divided on. Like let's why won't anyone state the obvious? I just don't get it.
And watch these men and women. These are great American leaders right here. Hope you grow up to be like them. And let's admit it. We can't truly be leaders if we're only living for re-election. Let's be knowledgeable and wise and act on what we truly believe. Again, we got to look in the mirror, lead with humility, and acknowledge the values that are inherent to, but also above politics. We got to make choices, make stands, embrace new ideas, and preserve the traditions that can create true progress for the next generation with real leadership. Let's start giving us, all of us, with real leadership. Let's start giving all of us good reason to believe that the American dream is not an illusion. So where do we start? We start by making the right choices on the issue that is in front of us today. We start by making laws that save innocent lives and don't infringe on our Second Amendment rights. We start right now by voting to pass policies that can keep us from having as many Columbine, Sandy Hooks, Parklands, Las Vegas, Buffaloes, and Uvaldes from here on. We start by giving Alethea a chance to be spoiled by her dad. We start by giving Mayday a chance to become a marine biologist. We start by giving Ellie a chance to read her Bible verse at the Wednesday night service. Start by giving Irma
the Wednesday
and Joe
night
a
service.
chance to finish painting their house.
Service.
Maybe retire, get that food truck. We start by giving McKenna, Layla, Miranda, Nevaeh, Jose, Javier, Tess, Rogelio, Eliana, Annabelle, Jackie, Azealia, JC, Jayla, Ava, Amory, and Lexi. We start by giving all of them our promise that their dreams are not going to be forgotten. We start by making the loss of these lives matter. Thank you. Thank you.
When you spoke to the president, can you say anything about this?
All right. Well, what did you guys think of that? Okay, so here's the pros and cons. Okay, pros. I think it's very important to humanize people who have passed away, especially these kids, regardless of whether or not it was some Manchurian candidate MK Ultra shit or not. If these kids are real and it's not a hoax, you know, it's good that he talked about them and talked about how their families love them and the things they want to do when they grow up. Okay. Very moving, very emotional, definitely a good thing to do. But the problem is, does he do that for every murder that happens in Uvalde, Texas? Do any of these celebrities do that for anyone who has been murdered outside of a supposedly, allegedly racially motivated attack, or some politically motivated attack, or some white on black cop murdering black criminals? Like, do they ever do that for regular people? No. So that's where it becomes disingenuous with me. And this is the same problem that I have with Steve Kerr speaking up on this situation. And, you know, Steve Kerr doesn't give a shit about the child prostitutes in Oakland. Steve Kerr doesn't give a shit about the overdoses that are happening in the streets of San Francisco, particularly on Market Street and Mission Street. But he wants to cry at the fucking press conference. Like, really, bro? Like, you don't give a fuck about the people that are dying in your city, but you want to jump on the bandwagon now? It just seems disingenuous to me. There were some key words that he used in the beginning. He said lives matter. We know that is a term. It's a trending term. Okay, whether it's blue lives matter, black lives matter, all lives matter, whatever. It's a trending term. So like I noticed he threw that in. Okay. Talks about paths. He talks about getting something done, which is something that you'll hear out of every fucking commie Democrat's mouth at any age. Okay. Talks about why is this moment different? Well, why is it different, Matthew McConaughey? Let's pull up the crime statistics of Uvalde, Texas. Let's take it a step further. Okay. Now this is all from 2019. Okay, so I don't have a lot to go on that's recent, but here are the cities in. Let me make it bigger. Here are the cities in Texas with the high crime rates. So Humble is the highest. Belmead, Cleveland, Livingston, Lubbock, Donna, Houston, Alamo, La Mesa, Harlingen, Jasper, San Antonio, Texarkana, Lamarck, Alice, Lufkin, Addison, Leon Valley, Beaumont, Amarillo, Pampa, San Benito, Henderson, Sinton, Granbury, Mercedes, Rockport, Katy, Big Spring, Corpus Christi, Balch Springs, Dallas, Live Oak, Austin, Mesquite, Uvalde. Okay. So in 2019, there were 4,090 murders in Uvalde. Now, if Uvalde is such a small town, why does it only have why does it only have 21 less murders in 2019 than Austin, Texas, where we know there's a huge homelessness problem and a huge drug problem and all the other shit that comes with that, okay? So, do you see how many other cities have less murders? I'm scrolling down. Do you see how many other cities in Texas have less murders than Uvalde? I'm still scrolling. Okay? Okay, I'm sorry. Let me correct myself. I want to be accurate. Ranked by total crime rate. Okay, so that includes rapes, aggravated assault, burglary, property crime. Okay. I'm just trying to understand how Uvalde has a higher, at least in 2019, had a higher crime rate of 4,090 per 100,000 people than Texas in general, which is slightly higher than the United States in general. So clearly, now I don't know how many of these are murders, but this is all the crime lumped together. Uvalde has a higher crime rate than the average of Texas, which is slightly higher than the average in the United States. Where were you before, Matt? Like, where were you before? Where were you fucking pounding the table and getting all crazy over this? Like, where were you? Another term that he used in his speech is talking about real change. Again, it's these words like lives matter and path and getting something done and real change. By themselves, these words are innocent. Okay, they're terms. But when you see how many of these terms are used by the progressive radical left, it kind of seems like, okay, dude, you're using this same terminology in speech. You're using the same terminology in speech that all the Dems use, that all the radical, undercover commies are using. And it just is like, it's not cute. It's not cute. Anyway, let's move on to see what Dan Bongino said to critique what Matthew McConaughey said.
Very famous, very talented actor, by the way, at the White House yesterday. Matthew McConaughey, you probably probably heard, was all over the news. He showed up in the Brady press room at the White House, which is, a taxpayer-funded facility, by the way. And he gave a really passionate speech, and I appreciated that part about the victims of this Uvalde murderer. The massacre there, which those stories should be told often, because a civil society can't have these kind of things happening. We just can't.
Rumble sucks. I know.
I mean,
I know.
Does that even need to be said?
Let me refresh the page on Rumble and see if this works any better. Fucking Rumble. We're gonna talk about Rumble, but we got to make Rumble work, guys. We got to get it up to we got to get it up to spec here. I'm refreshing it. Now, Matthew Mack is being coached as he is a Hollywood elitist being controlled for political propaganda, and he's being used to help flip Texas blue. When he's using terms like this, I wouldn't be surprised. He says he's a centrist. He says he's a centrist, but the thing is, I've been saying it for a long time. If you don't fucking pick a side, you're on their side. Period. Matty Boy was running damage control and a cover up for the radical left. No doubt. I mean, he did talk about, he tried to appear neutral and respecting of 2A rights, but I don't really think he was. I wasn't convinced. If I had $1 for every decent Irish American politician, I wouldn't be able to buy a potato. When am I coming to El Paso? We need to do a live together, and I'm looking to do 2A political podcast soon.
Get ready to hear the truth about America on a
Come on, Rumble. Rumble.
I don't understand why I have to take my policy prescriptions from Matthew McConaughey. The guy is a talented actor. He said some great things yesterday, talking about family values and American values, no doubt. But ladies and gentlemen, we are not the cult of personality here. I'm really sorry, but I don't take my advice on my constitutionally protected, God-given big R rights from a Hollywood actor. I don't do that. He has cultural capital. What he says is important. I am consistent on this. I said the same damn thing when Kanye West walked in the White House with Donald Trump. Remember the show, Joe?
Yeah, I do.
A lot of liberals were laughing. Yeah, Kanye West, what an idiot. And I said, listen, I don't take policy advice from Kanye West. I don't care if he's meeting with Donald Trump or not. But what did we say at the time, Joe? We said, but don't disregard it. He has cultural capital. Joe was there.
Yeah.
He has cultural capital. Matthew McConaughey, what he says is important. Just like what Kanye did at the White House was important, because people listen outside of the standard political bubble. People who disregard Biden and Trump and don't care, but watch TikTok all day, listen to Kanye and Matthew McConaughey. So if you're going to go up there and use that cultural capital to argue for a policy. I'm very sorry, but to the 30% of people who were all in for Matthew McConaughey, I'm not here to capitulate on ideas to try to sell myself and be a phony. Oh, he was all great. Let's forget him. What a lot of things he said were great. But he talked about specific things. Are those things not worth debating because he's a popular actor? We're folks, we're not in a cult here. And my apologies to the 70%, maybe more, and do the exact math, who were, on our team last.
Fucking Rumble, man. Fucking Rumble. We're trying to hold on here. Do this to me, Rumble. Get your shit together. Come on, Rumble. Let's do it. I need to refresh the page again. Rumble, I want to work with you. I really want to work. Today or tomorrow. In the kitchen, we say, hoy or mañana. Today or tomorrow. At some point, let's get this shit together. This is why we need more users over there so we can figure this shit out. They'll get more money when they have more users, guys. I'm sorry. I know Dan Bongino is supposed to be Italian, but he looks black to me. All right. You know what? Okay, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this the old school way. Bye, TikTok. You guys have a good night. We'll just listen to it.
Get ready to hear the truth about America.
A lot of this morning. Did you guys agree? It's all over cable news, even conservative stations. Oh, I mean, even conservative hosts I respect. Oh my gosh, he was so great. Oh man, did you hear what he said? I want you to keep in mind, with due respect to the man and his authentic, I have no doubt emotions about what happened. I have zero doubt about that. This is Matthew McConaughey, not that long ago, recommending that we surrender our AR-15s and that they get banned. This is our new iconic hero on the right. I'm sorry, folks. As Steve Day said yesterday on Twitter, it's a no for me, dog. A big no. Check this out.
Now, again, as stated in the March for Our Lives mission statement, how do we do this? They've got 3 hallmarks here. 1, let's ban the assault weapons for civilians. And to my friends out there that are responsible owners of these recreational or these assault weapons that they use for recreation, please, man, let's take one for the team here. Set it down.
There it is. I have Chiron right now. Moving message from Uvalde native McConaughey. Yeah, it was moving. But did you focus on what he said afterwards? There were a lot of people who gave passionate speeches. I have no doubt his emotions are authentic. But he said things that are going to impact you. This is a guy who wanted to ban the most popular rifle in America right now. We're supposed to ignore that? He just said it. We were watching it. He's like, this is the danger of these people with cultural capital, these cultural icons speaking out. I'm not sure they're informed on the issues at all. And everybody's like, oh, I love this guy. And what was he in? A Time to Kill? I don't even know. He's in a lot of movies. I'm sorry. I'm not. Interstellar was a good movie. He's a great actor. But we're taking now policy prescriptions. He's free to run for office. I didn't. Let me tell you something. It sucks. It is a lot of work. A lot of work. It is debates. It is door knocking. It's handshaking at train stations. It is a ton of work. You want to do the work? Or you want to just, pop in and give a speech about a bunch of policy prescriptions and pop out and everybody claps? So let's focus on what he actually said, because that really does matter. He addressed the support for red flag laws. And to be candid and fair and objective, he said, and we should have a policy against people who abuse them. In other words, if I didn't like Guy and said, hey, Guy's got an AR-15, I told the Martin County Sheriff, and he threatened to shoot up a school and I lied, and you get him red flagged or something like that. So he gave kind of what he believes is a balanced perspective. Folks, here's the problem I will always have it with red flag laws and why I will never, ever support them. Because number one, I don't think they will do a damn thing to save one life in this country. If you are hell-bent into walking into a school and shooting a bunch of kids in the face, there isn't a chance in Hades that someone's going to stop you from your murder spree by declaring you red flag. You will find a gun, you will find a knife, you will find a vehicle, and
You'll
will
make a
kill
bomb
and murder and run them down no matter what. It will not save one life. And as I said with Geraldo last night, again, if you watch the clip, Geraldo's all in for this stuff. There is a red flag law right now, air quotes, in this country. They're called parents. They're called parents. You're telling me your kid is so dangerous, third parties should red flag them, but you can't control your kid and prevent them from going and murdering people, and we're supposed to ignore that? So
sorry, I'm triggered.
Now, Joe, you put you on a list with, at best, corrupted due process. Who's going to put you on the list? Is it the same FBI who spied on Donald Trump? What about the 50 intelligence officials or however many who wrote the letter that the Hunter Biden laptop was Russian information? Oh, those people.
Those people.
You
trust your safety to the government?
As Steve Day said yesterday, that's a big no for me, dog. I'm going to take a hard pass on that one. McConaughey's for it. So because he's a great actor who, again, for the umpteenth time, gave an unquestionably authentic speech. And I really believe, I'm not attacking the man personally. I mean it. He's perfectly free to speak on what he would love to speak about. But he's going to speak about policies like this. He has a duty to inform himself. And you have a duty to fight back. He spoke about some other things as well. You know what? Let me take a quick, because I'm getting really emotional. I get crazy. Let me take a quick break here. I was going to go into, but he spoke about another My Patriot Supply. They have over. Ladies and gentlemen, we already have background checks. Again, I mentioned this last night with Geraldo. Do they not know we already have background checks? In order for you to buy a firearm at a gun show or in a gun store from an FFL, a licensed firearm dealer, you have to go through a background check. Now, when the left says universal background checks, what they're talking about are private sales. When you buy a gun, Joe Armacost, from whatever, Donnie's gun shop on the corner, and Joe's son is a Marine, if he wants to give that firearm later, Joe's getting old. I don't know. He just doesn't want the firearm in the house anymore. Right. Joe says, hey, little Joe, here's my firearm. As long as little Joe is not a prohibited possessor, he's not. There's no reason the government needs to be. Why does the government need to be involved in that? Why? From Joe to little Joe. Well, the reason is, as I've said 1,000 times, and forgive me for if this is getting annoying, I'm sorry. But again, I'm concerned that based on the feedback from the McConaughey critique last night, that people don't understand the damage of what he's proposing. The government wants a check from Joe to little Joe. It's not so little anymore, by the way, because they want to make sure they know where every gun is. This has been a Democrat dream for decades. Why would they want to know where every gun is? So one day, if they ban them, they know where to go to get them. Listen to me. You can call this a conspiracy theory all you want, but it's really weird how everything I've told you was not a conspiracy theory that the left said was a conspiracy theory turned out to be true, and how I'm now running out of conspiracy theories because they're no longer theoretical. The left knows full well that criminals don't go through background checks, no matter what. Not through private sales, not through gun shops. Why would a criminal not go through a background check?
Gee, let's
Because
take
he
a
knows
guess.
he's a criminal. Why? Because he or she was there. You know, jail, handcuffs. They know they can't buy a gun. They're not stupid. That's why there's a black market and a vibrant one for guns. Just like there's one for drugs. But those are illegal too, Dan. Exactly. Criminals don't buy guns through background checks. The left knows that. This has McConaughey. I'm not sure if I don't want to get in his head. I don't know, and I don't want to make it personal. But I'm not sure he understands that. This universal background check thing won't do a single thing to keep a single gun out of the hands of criminals. It will only give the government a list for when they ban these things to make sure they know where they all are and how to target their enemies. Oh, Dan, they're not going to come for all the guns. There are hundreds of millions of them. You're right. They don't have the personnel.
Listen to this part.
But just like red flag laws, they don't need to come for everyone's guns. They just need to come for the guns of their political enemies. You know, like the Peter Navarros and stuff. Oh, that didn't. Oh, it did. Oh, it's right. The Roger Stone, maybe showed up at guns at his house. Gives you a reason, right? Roger, you bought an AR-15 pistol a few years ago. We noticed when we were looking through our federal registry that when we banned it, you never turned it in. Roger, what happened to that gun? Well, I gave it to my son. Did you do a background check? Because we don't see that transaction. You're under arrest, sir.
Exactly.
That's a conspiracy there. You sure? You sure about that? You sure? You want the government with a list and then the ability to red flag you and then the ability to arrest you because you didn't turn in your firearm? You keep up with that. Tell me how he's such a great actor. Agreed. Point stipulated. He wants to run for office. He's free to do so.
Exactly. And he's
Let me
got
play
the
some
money.
video last night, finally, from the Geraldo thing on the final thing.
All right. I think that's enough. We just hit over an hour. Again, Texas, where the fuck you at? Cowboys, where the fuck you at? Let's stop playing games here. You can't stop crazy. You can't stop hatred. You can't be the thought police. You can't know what's going through the minds of all of these fucking psychos out here. You can't know what kind of drug and alcohol abuse people have. You can't know it. This is not a Minority Report. And I don't know where, I guess we do know where Matthew McConaughey was from, Uvalde, which is pretty high up on the list of Texas cities that have a high crime rate. Not sure how many of those, again, I don't know how many of those crimes were murder. Some of them could be property crimes, burglary, assault, whatever. Okay. But it's pretty likely that the higher the crime rate, the higher the murder rate. I think that's safe to assume. You can't be the thought police. And until these fucking progressives, until these fucking humanitarian, hippie, pacifist Confucians get it through their heads that motherfuckers that want to do foul shit are going to do foul shit no matter what. Okay. Now, yes, this kid that did this Uvalde shooting, he did pass his background check. Okay. But my daughter would have passed a background check before she did what she did. So she's not able. The feds got me. Not yet. Not yet. The feds didn't get me yet. They're coming, but they didn't get me yet. Okay. I was just going to wrap it up. Jenny's final thoughts. This is what we've been screaming for years, for decades. If you want to do something crazy, you're going to do something crazy. The point is, the Second Amendment levels the playing field. Okay. I don't want the bad guys running amok. Okay. They already are in Chicago, Baltimore, Louisville, Houston, parts of Austin, LA, Bakersfield, Oakland, San Francisco, Portland, Oregon, parts of Miami, parts of Charlotte. They're already running amok. Detroit. You can't prevent crazy. You can't legislate and throw money and create policies against the basic hatred and dysfunction of humanity. You cannot do that. It's not possible. But what we can do is we can level the playing field. And when you have cops that don't want to walk into a school because they don't feel like they have backup, and yet you have brave parents and Border Patrol agents that show up with their pistols and they want to help, and then you have cops saying, no, you can't help, because it's a liability, then lives are lost. Okay. None of us know what happened in school that day. None of us do. And in all fairness, it's very easy to say coulda, woulda, shoulda. But at the end of the day, anything that takes a gun out of my hand makes me susceptible to being raped, attacked, robbed, and murdered. Okay. And it makes you susceptible to that too. So I want to level the playing field. And I don't think that's, I don't think it's wrong. It's not. It's not wrong. I'm tired of the bad guys winning. You're tired of the bad guys winning. All of us on this side, we're tired of the bad guys winning. And so when stuff like this happens, whether it's a setup, a psyop, an MK Ultra, a Manchurian Candidate, whatever the fuck it is, or if it's just somebody who's just woke up one day and decided to kill somebody, we can't prevent that. So, you said Sacrament City, China, Florida. Exactly. Crazy. That's the best way to say it. Crazy does not go by the rules. Hatred and anger does not play by the rules. Consequences are irrelevant to these people. These are rabid dogs. These are rabid animals that need to be put down. Just like when a dog bites a child viciously, that dog is put to sleep. And that's what we need to do with the rapists. That's what we need to do with the murderers. We don't give a fuck what their problems are. I'm sorry. We all have mental health issues. Yes, some are more severe than others. Does it make us question our humanity? Do we think we can help everybody? That's the problem with progressivism. That's a problem with the hippie, pacifist, Confucianist mindset. You think you can help everyone. You think you can counsel everyone. Some people are broken. Some people are completely broken inside. They are broken mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And if they want to pick up a weapon, a gun, a bomb, a makeshift bomb, a knife, whatever the fuck, and do and hurt the public, that's what they're going to do. Or hurt their family members, that's what they're going to do. Or hurt their kids, that's what they're going to do. You can't prevent it. All we can do is level the playing field. I'd like to thank everyone who has been here tonight. Chris, Queen Mata, Callie Karen, Clue, of course, Meryl. Thank you for being here. Kevin K, thank you for being here. It's 1 a.m. where I'm at, and I've done 4 live streams today. I'll do as many as I can tomorrow. We have a lot of material to cover. Got some cool videos coming out next week. One about toxic masculinity. We've got another Art of War masterclass with another military military serviceman member. I have a great video about gas, the gas prices and why they're going up. It's much more in depth than just what we're seeing in the public eye, because I found somebody who actually works for the oil and gas industry come on anonymously and share some things with me. I have an interview with a transsexual person who really dropped some gold nuggets about the whole movement, the trans activism movement. I was supposed to do a debate with a LGBT activist, but they decided to back out because they don't want to get in the ring with me. I'm sure this person I met on TikTok, this person is more than comfortable on TikTok debating where the debates cannot be recorded and where the debates are filled with followers who are going to agree with their points and lambaste anyone who disagrees with them. But when it comes to getting in the ring one-on-one with Red Pill Rage, this person doesn't want to do it anymore. We decline. We respectfully decline. Thank you for your offer. Yeah, bitch, I bet. 87 Sandy on TikTok, you know who you are. I'm not being hateful. I know you're not watching my show right now, but that's who it is. They don't want to fucking play. And I told them I would be 100% respectful, but they don't want to debate me anymore. So if you guys know any LGBT or trans activists who are brave enough to get in the ring with me, please send them my way, because I really want to discuss these issues. Anyway, last but not least, make sure you guys are following me. Instagram, Red Pill Jenny. That's where we got, that's my personal page. Twitter at Red Pill Rage. TikTok at Not Red Pill Rage. Oh, don't do this to me. Okay, Truth, Social, Gab, and Rumble. I am Red Pill Rage. If you want to send me an email, I am redpill_rage at protonmail.com. Clicking on shit and it's not working. That's when I know like the internet hates me. My new website, redpillreadingclub.com. Check that out too. I'm really proud of the work that I've been doing. It took a lot of troubleshooting to get that thing functional. It's not aesthetically pleasing, but I'm proud of it. I worked as hard as I could. I love you guys. You have a good night.